Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Let's just be honest for a second. If you've ever felt completely, utterly overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information your business is generating on a daily basis, well, you are definitely not alone, and you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to totally demystify data analytics. We're taking that chaotic, sprawling world of big data and transforming it into crystal clear, actionable business strategies, the kind you can actually use. We're going on a little journey today, from massive, mind-boggling data clouds all the way down to your real-world bottom line. All right, let's dive right in. So get a load of this number, 181 zettabytes. By the time we hit the year 2025, the world is projected to generate an unfathomable 181 zettabytes of data. And just to put into perspective how explosive that growth really is, back in 2015, global data volume was sitting at just 15.5 zettabytes. I mean, in a single decade, we're looking at a literal exponential deluge of information. It's wild. But wait, what actually is a zettabyte? It's not just big. 1 zettabyte is equal to 1,024 exabytes, which means a single zettabyte is over 1 billion terabytes. Just wrap your head around that. Now multiply that by 181, and you get an awe-inspiring amount of information being generated every single day. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the global data explosion, unpacking data analysis, the anatomy of data, 4 levels of analytics, and finally, we'll look at a real-world case study with Avid. Part 1, the global data explosion. Where exactly is this deluge coming from? So where on earth is all this coming from? Well, data is being generated constantly, literally all around us. We're not just talking about massive global business systems anymore. It's being collected and shared by social media, location services, fitness trackers, the mobile devices sitting in our pockets right now, and even our home appliances. And with the rapid rise of artificial intelligence and machine learning models, these massive amounts of data are just expected to keep growing and accelerating. Basically, we are constantly feeding the machine. Moving on to part 2, unpacking data analysis and making sense of the chaos. Okay, so we've got this overwhelming deluge of data. How do we actually navigate out of the chaos? We do it through a highly rigorous, structured process. It all starts with data collection, gathering up the raw information from all those sources we just talked about. But raw data is super messy, right? So that demands data cleaning, sweeping away the errors and the inconsistencies. From there, data transformation steps in to structure and format things so they can actually be analyzed. And finally, we hit our ultimate goal, insight discovery. This is where the magic happens. We turn that raw, refined data into actionable insights that help a business optimize processes, predict trends, and make totally informed data-backed decisions. Actually, before we go any further, I want to draw a really sharp contrast to clear up a super common misconception. Data analysis and business analysis, they are not the same thing. Data analysis focuses on looking at the data to figure out what is happening and why. It relies heavily on statistics, data visualization, SQL, and BI tools. Business analysis, on the flip side, looks at the business itself to find out what it needs and how to achieve it. It's all about processes, systems, and requirements gathering. Simply put, data analysis gives you the evidence, business analysis maps out the process. Section 3, the anatomy of data. Let's look under the hood. When we really look under the hood, we generally find 2 main types of data. First, you've got structured data. This is the good stuff, neatly organized, tabular, super easy to search. Think rows and columns in a standard database or a spreadsheet. Then, you've got unstructured data. This is the messy stuff. Raw text, standalone files, random emails. It doesn't fit neatly into a traditional table at all, which makes it way harder to analyze unless you're using advanced tools. And when we look inside your business systems, your ERP, CRM, or point-of-sale systems, there's another absolutely crucial duality: master data versus transactional data. The best way to think about it, think of master data as the noun. Your customer names, product codes, employee details, it rarely changes. It acts as the core, essential entity of your business. Transactional data, however, is the verb. It's the constant everyday action, making a sale, shipping an item, processing a payment. It is changing constantly and frequently. Which brings us to section 4, 4 levels of analytics, from raw data to action. So how does all this build into real action? Well, analytics aims to turn raw data into insights, and it happens across 4 distinct levels. First up, descriptive analytics. This just asks what happened. The output here is usually your standard everyday reports and dashboards. Next, we go a bit deeper with diagnostic analytics, asking, okay, why did it happen? This requires root cause analysis. Then we start looking to the future with predictive analytics. We're asking what will happen by leveraging forecasting and machine learning. And finally, we reach the holy grail, prescriptive analytics. This asks what should we do about it and provides direct recommendations and optimization strategies. This exact evolution is how data transforms a purely reactive business into a highly proactive one. And finally, Section 5, Real-World Impact, looking at Abbott. All right, we've talked about a lot of concepts, so let's look at the ultimate payoff in a massive real-world scenario. Abbott was facing a really significant challenge with off-shelf expiry and product obsolescence. To solve it, they implemented a completely brilliant data strategy. They bypassed all the guesswork and started pulling both transactional and master data straight out of their distributors' ERP systems. Specifically, they were zeroing in on inventory data, product expiry dates, and detailed sales forecasts. By pulling the structured data right from the source, they gained total, unbroken visibility into their entire supply chain.
And the return on investment here was incredibly tangible, because Abbott could see exactly what inventory it was sitting where and exactly when it was going to expire. They could suddenly implement way better promotions planning to move products long before they went bad. This empowered them to drastically manage and reduce unsellable stock and returns, which in turn reduced product claims and the huge financial impact that comes with inventory waste. Ultimately, the whole shebang led to far better demand planning for the future. They literally transformed invisible data into a shield against inventory waste. So as we wrap up this explainer today, I really want to leave you with a provocative thought to chew on. We know the world is barreling toward 181 zettabytes of information. We know that every business system, every transaction, literally every second is generating data. So you have to ask yourself, if your business is generating data every single second, what is it trying to tell you right now? Don't view your data streams as a chaotic burden. View them as the structured roadmap to your next great business decision. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.